Hello everyone and welcome to season 1 episode 2 of the Having Notions podcast. My name is Kiki Noma and with me is my best friend, boyfriend and local cinema enjoyer, Mr. Kino.
Hello everybody, this is Mr. Kino. Should probably stop facing. I'll face away from the camera there to say my name.
Camera.
Or microphone. I'm all over the place.
Great start, okay.
This is going to be...
He didn't have his coffee yet, so we're...
As you can see, as you can probably tell by the intro to this, you're in for a gripping podcast today.
Okay. Before we start, there is something that we need to address. When I was editing the first episode of this, we talked about our YouTube channels, but we never properly plugged them. So I think now is the appropriate time to actually plug our YouTube channels. Are you okay with that?
Yes.
Is there something you need to address on your phone,
Mr.
Kino? Anyways, while he is doing that, I
was just being told that it's getting windy, so I should have the windows closed, which they are.
They are closed. It's very cold at the moment. Anyways, starting off with plugging our channels. Right, so my channel, the handle is Kiki_Nova. What is my channel about, I hear you saying? Well, my channel is all about variety. I do anything and everything. I have done tier lists. I've talked about movies. I've talked about music. I do seasonal specials for every holiday there ever is or was. I upload every Friday and there is loads more to come. So definitely subscribe to my channel. It is worth the watch. And you know, Mr. Kino, he's been in loads of my videos. He has watched my videos and are they a lot of fun?
Your videos, yes, they are.
And making them as well. We also have a lot of fun making them. But yeah, that's my channel. I would really appreciate if you guys subscribe if you want to see and hear more of me. So yeah.
Yeah, my channel is called The Kino Cave, and I talk all things media in a nutshell. Books, comic books, video games sometimes, less on the video games, movies, TV shows, pretty much anything to do with that. My most recent video, which is doing fucking horribly, and I can't stand because I put so much work into it, but it's on the first Alien film to coincide with Alien Romulus coming out this past weekend as of time of recording. So yeah, if you're interested in hearing a nerd's thoughts about all kinds of media, because apparently there's not enough of that on YouTube. I'm joking. There's more than enough of it, but if you want an Irish person's perspective, then go to the Kino Cave.
That's a cute opinion. Did a YouTuber give it to you? Anyways, enough with the shameless plugging. Now,
yeah, we're like 3 minutes in, we've not gotten to any of the actual content.
Let's talk business. Are you ready?
I am ready.
I'm going to start with what I'm bringing to the table. Are you ready?
I'm very ready, yeah.
For the record, we haven't told each other what we're going to talk about today, so this is genuine live reaction, guys, because we care about authenticity in this podcast.
And we also want to make you feel like you're part of the conversation, and it wouldn't really feel that way if we knew what we were talking about and you didn't.
Right. So, what am I bringing to the table? Today, I want to talk about comfort characters. Lovely, nice topic, because we all need a bit of comfort in our lives. But there is a twist here, because I also want to talk about our confront characters. Bum bum bum.
Okay, so it's like there's two different kind of schools of thought here.
Okay, for those who don't know or are not chronically online like me, there's two sets of characters. There's your comfort characters, which you find comfort in, you relate to. There's a kinship, all that jazz. But then there's the other side, your confront characters, which are characters in literally anything, books, movies, television, whatever you want, that if you were given the chance to absolutely beat the ever-loving crap out of them and win, who would you pick? That's basically what we're talking about today on my end. So I want to talk comfort characters and confront characters. I'm going to be telling you mine, you can give me yours. It's going to be a lot of fun. Maybe there's hot takes here. I don't know. I didn't ask Brendan before we started recording this because authenticity. So.
Yeah, you're definitely going to have to go first because I need a second.
I know, I was going to go first anyways. Yeah. Okay. I'll start with like my comfort characters. I feel like you'll know.
Can we pick multiple characters? I don't mean to cut across, but
How dare you?
Can we pick like multiple characters or just one? Just multiple. Okay.
Like, you really think I could choose just one? I am the most indecisive person there is, and my comfort character / confront character could change every 2 seconds. So I have picked multiple. Bearing in mind I have more confront characters than comfort characters, but that's fine. That is totally fine. I'm valid. Anyways, starting off with comfort characters. I have a few. You probably know who I'm going to pick. Stop looking at my notes.
I'm not reading
cheater.
it. I'm just like, staring blankly.
Okay. You're going to laugh at this one because I say this all the time. My first comfort character is Alice Cullen from Twilight.
Of course it is.
What the fuck does that mean?
You know exactly what that means.
Why do I find comfort in Alice so much? Well, there's many reasons. First, she has the same personality type as me, ENFP, the best personality type. Love her. She's just so like, not silly, she's just so aloof, she's so nice, she's so kind, she can fucking see the future. She is so cool, and I find her so funny. Whenever she's on screen in the Twilight movies, I'm like, fuck yeah, that's my girl. I love her so much. I see myself a lot in Alice just by like how nice she is to Bella and like how she like takes her in, like when she's introduced to the other Cullens and stuff. Like, she's definitely the most like welcoming out of like the kids, because obviously Mr. and Mrs. Cullen, they're so nice to Bella anyways, but there's just something about Alice is definitely like the nicest out of the bunch, and you know what, I see myself in her, so sue me.
Yeah, I mean, I totally understand that as someone who's seen the Twilight films and
not willingly would like to
but yeah, I mean, to be fair, I give them a fair shot, and I do watch them when you watch them and stuff, and yeah, like Alice is just the kind of character that makes you feel good, like feel wholesome.
It's the friend you want. She really is the friend that everyone wants.
So unlike that kind of character archetype in a movie where they're just the friend.
Unlike Anna Kendrick's character Jessica, who I have severe beef with. Oh my god, I just noticed she's not on my list. We'll add her to the list of my confront characters, but whatever. Okay. My next comfort character, I think this might be one of a fan favourite when it comes to like this franchise.
Yeah, see, I'm trying to think of like deep pulls. I'm trying not to go with the obvious ones. Like,
well, you know what? Your choices are valid here. If you want, next week you can come and be like, actually, I have more. That's totally fine too. But anyways, my next comfort character is Luna Lovegood from the Harry Potter franchise. I feel like you're sensing a theme here.
Weird alt chicks, yeah, that seems to be the kind of theme.
Shut up. Even though I do not look alt whatsoever, but that's not the point. I just love Luna. She's so nice. She's not always there, but she's nice. And like, you know what? She's nice to everyone. And like, justice for my girl. She gets picked on for no fucking reason because she's not all there. But you know what? Justice for my girl. We love her. Like, everyone needs a friend like Luna that just says stuff and you're like, huh? But then she says the occasional smart thing and it's like, nice. I know exactly where you're coming from. That is also me. I feel like there's like 4 sides to me. One is Alice, one is Luna, and the other 2 have yet to be decided today. But yeah, that's another big one for me. Thoughts?
Luna Lovegood. Yeah, I think she's in the Harry Potter franchise. I think she's one of my comfort characters as well. Because I was, as a teenager, like the kind of weirdo that nobody really wanted to talk to, and kind of came out with like just said the strangest, most
absurd shit.
Yeah, just like saying shit out of the blue and nobody really knowing how to react. So I guess I feel a kinship with her, and the idea that she's not afraid to be herself, I think, is something that's really positive for a lot of people, including myself.
We should all take a page from Luna's book. We should all just not be afraid to be ourselves. That's basically what being in your 20s is. It's just like not being embarrassed liking the stuff that you liked when you were like 14. Because like, it's like I saw a video like yesterday. It's like, you don't grow out of your emo phase, you grow into it because you have the adult money. You can buy the shit that your parents wouldn't get you. It was like, oh, there's a spiked choker, you wouldn't buy it for me, I'm getting it now. That kind of stuff, you know? That's basically what being in your 20s is, and I'm fucking loving it.
Before you actually have the responsibilities and won't be able to pay for it for other reasons.
Exactly. Let's see, how many do I have? I have two more. One I'm not so sure about now, but like, you know, I'll name them anyways. My next one is, I just realized these are all from fucking kids things, but whatever, it's fine. We're not going to talk about that. My next comfort character is Mal from the Descendants franchise. What is Descendants? I hear some of you saying because you're not cultured. Basically, Descendants is one of those like Disney Channel original movies where they take the classic Disney characters like Cinderella, Snow White, and all the villains, etc., and they had kids, and it's basically their kids' story. There's actually a new one released recently called Rise of Red. I'm not watching it. I've watched a part of it and I'm like, okay, no. I'm sure it's not terrible, but I just don't want to watch it because like the first three are like perfect down to the last minute details. I've watched those movies when the first one came out in 2015, so I was like 12 when the first one came out, so I think it altered my brain chemistry. But Mal in particular, I loved her. I think I felt a strong kinship with her because she just wanted to be good enough for her parents, or her mother in particular, who was daughter of Maleficent, so hard woman to please, I'm guessing, if we all know the classic tale. But yeah, she just wants to make her mom proud. She's trying to hold everything together. She's just trying to live life, and then when she realized, you know, maybe I don't want to do what my mom does, she's just trying to hold it together for the next two movies and, you know, fit into like society because they got moved to the, you know, not prison island. Yeah, she's just trying to fit into normal society after being moved from like the prison island where they keep all the villains and shit, and like trying to hold it together, like, you know, learn how the world actually works and shit, while also facing prejudice of, you know, being a kid from a villain. So, you know, that's fun. But you know what, it's mainly just the parents thing, just trying to hold shit together. That's me. I'm just trying to hold shit together. I'm in my 20s. I'm a mess. Like everyone.
Yeah, as I'm trying to think of my own ones, I'm thinking of all the different angles you could take with the word comfort character, because I think there's so many different definitions you can maybe put on that. Like a comfort character can be a character you relate to. It could be a character that you find as like kind of an ideal, or there's a character that is like a friend, or there's a character that you just find really cool that you enjoy watching, and it just you know, gives you that serotonin boost, I guess. So I can see all those kind of different angles in yours, and Mal is definitely like kind of the relatability factor for you, I think. Luna, or what was the one before that?
Alice.
Yeah, that's more kind of the friend that you want in real life kind of aspect. So
that's how I'm trying to be.
Yeah, I think it's really great that comfort character can kind of fall into so many definitions.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it. That's why, like, I love hearing about people's comfort characters on the internet. Like, you know, it's just so interesting, and I just love hearing it, and I can't wait to hear yours once I shut the fuck up at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure. I don't know if mine are going to be great because I've been thinking about them for the last 10 minutes, and I'm literally just looking at all the films I have and just going through them. But I'll try my best.
It's okay. Now I have one more. Like, I think this is like the leg of comfort character that I just find she's super cool, and just like I wanted to be her when I was a kid, that kind of way. Well, my next character and final comfort character is Rosalina from Super Mario Galaxy. She is just super cool. She's mother to all the cute little Lumas, and like she's just so cool. She can float. She's a fucking side fringe over one eye. She is so cool. She has a silver crown. She fucking travels through space, like all that shit. She's beautiful. I love her. And like, I just, when she got introduced to Mario Kart Wii when I was a kid, I fucking lost my mind. Like, because I didn't know she was an unlockable character, and then I fucking unlocked her. I fucking screamed the house down because I was so happy. Like, I love her so much. I literally bought Super Smash Bros. On the 3DS because she's in it. That's the only reason I bought that game.
Yeah, I mean, I think she probably is my favourite female character in Mario, because Peach is kind of the obvious answer.
Yeah.
I don't know anything. I've not really experienced Daisy. I don't play that much. I was never like a fully Nintendo kid, I think.
I was a Nintendo gal.
Like, I had a DS, and I was like, the game I played the most was like Pokemon and Mario Kart, but then when I got a PS3, all that shit went out the window.
Yeah, I think that's a lot. Sorry, I can't speak. I feel like that's a thing for a lot of boys in particular. Like they get their DS, like especially in our generation, they get the DS when they're like 5 or 6. They love that to pieces, and next thing you know, they're gifted a PlayStation 3 for Christmas, and then next thing you know, fuck Nintendo, it's all about PlayStation.
Yeah, it's you either get a PlayStation and become obsessed with Nathan Drake, or you get an Xbox and become obsessed with Master Chief. So,
literally. But no,
I got a PlayStation. Guess which one I got?
no, I was a full Nintendo gal the whole time. I got my DS, I got the Wii. I still shill the Wii in 2024. I love it. So it's my favorite console ever. I had my 2DS, not the 3DS, because I was cool in an alternative. I had the 2DS, and by that I mean it was cheaper. And now I have the Switch, the same Switch I've had since fucking 2019. She's still going strong.
The Joy-Cons are a little worse for wear, but you know.
That only happened once, and I got like 3 sets of them for Christmas this year, so you know what? I'm having the time of my life.
I've heard that is like a big problem though, is the Joy-Cons not lasting. Like,
yeah.
A lot of people who play like way more than you or I would, like, you know, streamers and stuff, like their Joy-Cons are fucked after like a year because they're just apparently not very well
Not
made.
to mention the battery in my own is like not great. To be fair, it's like fucking 6 years old now, so like don't blame it for that. But you know, if I was to take it out of the unit and like play it handheld mode for like half an hour, the battery would be like at 40%. So, but you know what, it's fine. I love her, and I'm chilling her. When the Switch 2 comes out, maybe I'll get it, who knows. But you know, those are my comfort characters. We got sidetracked a lot there, but anyways, that's
the point though. That's the point of a podcast. You have to talk until you can't remember what the original subject was.
Exactly. Anyways, those are my comfort characters. Do you want to share your comfort characters, or do you want me to keep going with my confront characters?
No, I think breaking them up is probably, because if I have to think of my comfort, if I have to remember my comfort ones and then come up with conflict ones, I'm gonna
forget.
I'm gonna implode in my brain. So
too much thinking.
Like I said, mine are probably not gonna be great. I'm trying not to go with the really obvious ones, because I'm looking at all my movies. Like, I have a view of my shelf from where I'm sitting, and I'm looking, I'm like, I could say like Luke Skywalker is Superman, but that's everybody's answer. Like,
that's the most basic bitch answer.
So I'm trying to find some deep pulls, and I think to start out, again, these might not be great, but they're just the ones that come to mind and, you know, give me that feeling of just warmth.
You're totally valid. You're totally seen.
The first one I want to go with is Grant Gustin's version of Barry Allen, I think, from The Flash.
Interesting. Not in a bad way. I realized how bad that sounded.
No. It's I think that is a semi-deep pull. Like, not a lot of people have seen that show, or at least not a lot of people will have like seen it like to the end, because, and I don't blame anybody for that. But
I don't like. Before we started dating, I had no idea there was like a Flash like TV show.
Exactly, yeah.
So, you know what, kind of deep pull, considering, you know, I'm kind of the more average, you know, media enjoyer. I'm chronically online, but that's besides the point.
I'm only like questioning whether or not it's a deep pull because I see a lot of it, but then again, I'm in that sphere, so
I'm outside, so I'm your kind of
exactly. Like, to the average person, they probably don't even remember that The Flash had a TV show. But yeah, Grant Gustin's version of Barry Allen, at least in the early seasons, was a massive comfort character for me. I basically accredit like The Flash to forming my teenage years, like, because the show started when I was 12 and I watched it from episode 2.
So it's basically like your Descendants, but like in the form of like a TV show.
Yeah, but the funny thing is that it ended like last year, I think. Right after my teenage years ended.
That's beautiful. That is very poetic.
So it is kind of that thing of like, it kind of came full circle for me personally.
Yeah. In
that way. But the reasons why Barry Allen is my kind of comfort character, I think he was the kind of person that I wanted to be when I grew up.
Okay.
Like, he's kind of this nice guy who's able to have fun, and he's like, you know, most importantly, he's not a dick. But then he also has his own struggles, and he's like a little bit socially awkward, which I was as well and still am. And he just seemed like kind of how I wanted to be when I was that age, because you know, he's kind of like a nerd as well and things like that, and he's got like a kind of a close-knit group of friends and all that kind of thing, and then he's also got super speed, which just
makes him different.
Everybody wants super speed.
Yeah, honestly, I'd get so much done.
It's this, like, when people are like, what superpower would you want? That would be mine. It'd save so much time.
I'm trying to think about what I want. I think I'd want like maybe like flying or something, or just sorcery.
That could be another podcast episode.
That we'll do that another day.
Yeah. So yeah, I think Barry Allen, he's definitely one of my big comfort characters whenever I sit down and rewatch The Flash, because I've got the whole show on Blu-ray. Whenever I sit down to watch The Flash, I just get that hit of like, you know, a little bit of like feeling like a kid again, but also that hit of just like, this is just nice.
That's good.
I'm trying to, like, again, hit it from multiple angles. So, do you know what? Here's like a pretty deep pull, but also kind of relevant.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Eric Draven.
Who's that again?
He's the Crow.
Okay, I've never seen The Crow, so I think you might have to explain to the masses that aren't in your sphere, because again, I'm like, who's that? Or what is that?
There's a new Crow movie coming out next week, so you've probably seen that advertised in a couple of places. I'm saying the people.
Oh, right, sorry. I was like, I have not.
The people may have seen it, because I'm starting to see it on like TikTok and shit. Like people posting about that Crow movie that does not look good, but anyway, that we're not talking about that. I'm talking about Brandon Lee's The Crow, and I think he's a comfort character in a very different way, where I tend to have a little bit of like an angsty side of my personality. Like when I was a teenager, I definitely had a very angsty side to me.
He's an emo, is basically what he's trying to say. He's kind of an
emo. It's more
wanted
to be an emo
but
rather
you
than
are
actually
an emo.
was. At heart I am,
yes.
I think. And yeah, just Brandon Lee's portrayal of the Crow, by the way, R.I.P. Brandon Lee, you know, terrific actor and taken way before his time. But anyway, his portrayal of the Crow is just so extra, and I love that so much. Like when he's like putting on the Crow makeup and costume and stuff, and like Burn by The Cure is playing in the background, and he's just like this tortured soul and stuff. I find it so, it's not funny, but like it's just,
you feel it. It's a kinship in a way.
Yeah, it's kind of a thing of like, oh, I wish I was that extra, like all the time. I wish I could be that like dramatic.
It's just how we're all trying to be.
And yeah, I don't know. I guess I just find comfort in this tortured soul who goes out in the middle of the night in the rain and seeks revenge for his girlfriend's death. I think that's it's not relatable by any stretch of the imagination.
I'm still alive. Is there something you're not telling me?
No, it's definitely not relatable, but it's kind of just that thing of like, you know, sometimes you just want to be the dark, tortured character that's brooding all the time, you know?
I'm seeing a lot of things on like Instagram and stuff, because like my Instagram is a gold mine for memes. There's just so many memes about like people wanting to be Batman. It's like, oh, me after I say goodnight, and it's just a fucking picture of Batman. It's like, why does everyone want to be Batman? Like, why is everyone opposed to a good night's sleep?
I feel like I'm not coming off very well in my explanation of this. Like, it's not that I want to be the Crow or anything. It's more just it's kind of that cool, like, badass kind of thing.
It's the vibe you want to give off. Is that what you're getting at?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, there
but
we go.
I know that I probably will never give off that exact vibe unless something actually really tragic happens to me.
Touch wood that nothing that bad ever happens to you.
Yeah. So, moving swiftly on from that one. Yeah, again, I'm looking like, you know, I could say Rocky. He's another big one for me, but he's kind of an obvious one again. Kind of inspiring. How many did you have? 3, 4?
I have 4 comfort characters.
Okay, I'll go again in a completely different direction.
Okay.
This, I'm going to have to provide context before I say it, because people might just click off the podcast if I say it without explaining it.
Are we about to get controversial in this podcast? Is there going to be a hot take, as the kids say?
This isn't a hot take. Well, it could be, but I need to explain it first.
Okay.
This is not comfort in the sense of the actions of the character provide me comfort. Or
I'm very scared as to what the fuck you're about to say.
The character that it is provides me comfort. It's more the thing that the character is in provides me comfort.
Oh god, okay.
And I'm going to go with Freddy Krueger from Nightmare on Elm Street. Because Nightmare on Elm Street is one of my favourite film series.
Okay.
Freddy Krueger is one of my favourite fictional characters. He's one of my favourite horror villains. And Nightmare on Elm Street I consider to be my favourite horror movie. Even though I prefer Alien as a film.
Yeah.
I treat them as 2 different categories.
Okay.
So Freddy Krueger is a comfort character for me in the sense that I love watching him on in the movies.
You just like everything he's in, kind of, the character.
Exactly.
Okay.
Like that. I don't find the character relatable in the slightest. I do not.
I fucking hope not.
I do not admire the character in the
No.
slightest. I love watching the character, and also he reminds me because it was the first horror movie I ever actually sat down and watched, or at least horror movie for adults, because I'd seen like, Coraline and Monster House before then.
They don't count. Those are gateway horror for kids.
Like they're horror and they're valid as horror, but they're just for children.
Yeah.
Nightmare on Elm Street was the first like 18s plus horror movie that I watched. So
is that 18s?
It is, yeah.
Ah.
Because the themes are very, very dark.
Yeah. I don't know why I thought I was 16, but whatever.
Do you know what? Horror fans in the audience, I feel, will be able to understand my viewpoint on this, because horror fans like watching horror because it does provide a sense of comfort to see this horrific shit happen in a movie as a form of escapism instead of being in real life.
Because we're all fucked up deep down.
So that's why Freddy Krueger is one of my favorite comfort characters. I think just sitting down and watching him makes me feel like a teenager again, watching my first ever horror movie, and I just love watching him. He's so charismatic as well. Robert Englund he fucking kills it, if you'll forgive the pun.
Comedy.
As that character.
I love that. The difference between you and me. Your first horror movie was Nightmare on Elm Street. A classic among the world. What was my first fucking horror movie? Unfriended. That was my first horror movie.
Yuck.
I want to watch it again just to see how bad it is now that I've developed taste of actual good horror movies. So I want to see how bad it actually is now. But yeah, is that all, or do you have one more?
I'm gonna go with one more, and I think I'm gonna go in a very different direction again, just to provide variety. I'm gonna go with a children's character.
Okay.
And I'm stuck. Do you know what? Yeah, I'll go with. This is again a semi-deep pull. I feel like not everybody would think of this, right out the gate. I'm gonna go with Remy from Ratatouille, and this is a character that I do find relatable, and that I do find provides me great comfort, because Ratatouille was one of my favorite films as a kid. It continues to be one of my favorite films to this day, and yeah, it's like one of the absolute pinnacles of children's animated films, and it's also got a whole lot of depth, and it's got a whole lot of stuff that adults can relate to as well. And I find Remy incredibly relatable as an artist who's kind of, I wouldn't say trapped, but
his family doesn't accept what he wants to do, kind of thing.
He grew up in a world where art is discouraged in favor of just working until you die, basically.
Survive.
And I find a special kinship with that, and the ecstasy that he feels when he meets with other artists and is allowed to expand and be free in his art. But then he finds a way to reconcile those two sides of himself, where he can create his art, but then also be that, recognize where he came from and all that kind of thing. And I find that incredibly inspirational, and just so many of the scenes, we watched it recently.
We did watch it last week.
The scene where he's fixing the soup is just that's what happens in my head whenever I come up with something creative. And yeah, that film will forever be inspirational to me.
That is so fair. And I love how the second you mentioned the movie Ratatouille, my stomach was like, food?
The food in Ratatouille looks incredible.
Amazing.
The Ratatouille in Ratatouille looks incredible, and I do really want to make it someday.
I love how the big common misconception, everyone thought as a kid, the Ratatouille from Ratatouille was just different coloured pepperonis.
I definitely thought the red was pepperoni, and I thought the green was veg.
It does look really good though. I actually want to try it. And I love how we have when we were in London about 2 months ago now at this point, we went to the Disney store just to have a look around, because we don't have one we do, but it's up in Dublin, and that's who wants to go to Dublin. We bought a book. It was the Anyone Can Cook cookbook from Ratatouille, but there was nothing in it, so we can fill it with whatever we want, and we're using it to fill out all our recipes, and I'm having the best time with it. It's a nice little thing.
Actually, it provides me with a lot of happiness that we have the Anyone Can Cook cookbook from Ratatouille, and that we fill it with all our recipes. That's something that I think I'll hold on to and cherish for the rest of my life, and I'll continue to put recipes in it whenever I discover or create new ones that I find I want to keep going. We're putting a lot of our day-to-day meals that you can whip up in an hour, but then we'll also put in special cakes and special meals as well. So
And we're having so much fun. Like, I'm finding recipes on TikTok and I'm showing Brendan, I'm like, yo, let's try this like tonight or whatever, and we do, and like half the time they're fucking phenomenal. Like, we made like fried chicken like last week, best thing ever. It was so good.
Yeah, and you know, there's an element of like, you can make these things that would normally be very unhealthy, but you can kind of make them in a healthier way using like low fat ingredients, which is really great as well.
We're being health conscious. Well,
anyway,
also
food is a topic for another day.
Definitely, because we will keep. Is that all your comfort characters?
Yeah, I picked 4. You picked 4, so it feels pretty even. And also, we're at 33 minutes of recording.
It's
time.
Fine. To be fair, we lost a few minutes because reasons, but it's fine. There's actually one more comfort character. Like, it's gonna be quick and easy because I was looking at the shelf and I realized I completely forgot a certain character. I started showing you Avatar: The Last Airbender. We haven't finished it. We're still on season 1 and we're only like 4 or 5 episodes in. But there's a certain character that I forgot about, but then I saw because I have all 3 seasons on DVD. I just saw it on the shelf there. There is a character by the name of Ty Lee. She is probably my favorite character in the whole show, and I relate to her so much. Now, it's been a while since I watched Avatar: The Last Airbender, but like, I might be forgetting some stuff, or I might be like misremembering stuff, but who cares? I love her anyways. Basically, she's friends with the villains, like the firebenders, but she is probably the nicest person you'll ever meet. Like, she's just so happy, she's so bubbly, she's always trying to look on the bright side, like, whatever. Like, she's just so fun. And like, I think from what I remember that they don't really take her seriously because she's just so nice, she's so bubbly, like that kind of stuff. I feel like that happens to me quite a lot. Like, people try to take advantage of me because I'm so nice, that kind of way. And not to mention, she doesn't feel special because she has like 8 or 9 sisters that all have names that sound similar to Ty Lee. So, you know, not very special, that kind of way. But, you know, I feel that. I love her. I feel that. And, you know, that's a comfort character for me. We really need to get back to watching that because I'm seeing it. I'm like, I have the itch to watch it now.
we will. Yeah, I think that's something that especially a lot of women can probably relate to. So that's a really good pick. Do you know what? Since you added in an extra one, I'll be really, really quick and I'll mention Ben 10. Ben 10 was my favourite thing as a kid. I just desperately wanted to be him because he has a watch that can make you into any superhero, and for someone who can't make a decision to save his life, that's me. So
you feel that already.
Ben 10 is an intensely relatable character to me, and I still get that hit of wholesome feelings whenever I rewatch the show. And I'll just very, very quickly say my ultimate comfort character has to be Peter Parker, I think.
I'm surprised you didn't leave with that.
Yeah, I completely forgot. This is the problem. Like, I had to think of it all on the fly, so I didn't really think about it. And to be honest, he is a fairly obvious one as well, but I do have to say that is, I think, like, top of the list. Comfort characters,
like,
Peter Parker.
Especially in his Spider-Man 2 era. That's
yeah, and I'm sure we'll do another podcast where we talk about Spider-Man, where
Definitely.
I can get into that more deeply, but I've already talked about like 4 different things, so
yeah.
We'll move on.
We'll move swiftly on, and you still have to talk about your topic, so we'll try get to this kind of quickly. So, next we have confront characters. Now, I don't know who to lead with, so pick a number between 1 and 5, because I have 5.
3.
Number 3. Okay, starting off with Dolores Umbridge from Harry Potter. I think a lot of people are with me on this one because she's such a fucking cow. She is the worst person ever in this entire franchise. Like, she's hated more than the actual villain.
Yeah, when you're hated more than an actual Nazi, I think you might have to bleep the word Nazi.
Sure. Wizard, that word.
But yeah, when you're hated more than Wizard Hitler, you know that you're doing something horrible.
Yeah. But yeah, there's just something about her. I think it's because, like, she is like that one really mean teacher that, like, everyone in school like hated. Like, I feel like everyone in school had that one teacher.
Yeah, I think the reason that people hate Dolores Umbridge so much and like actually hate him more than Voldemort is because we've all met Dolores Umbridge. Like, you're never gonna, like, it's rare that you're ever gonna meet or at least have to interact with in real life somebody like Voldemort.
Yeah.
But Dolores Umbridge, like, we've all known that adult.
Yeah, my history teacher was definitely my Dolores Umbridge. I cannot stand that woman to this day. I am now nearly 22 and I still think about that woman. Like, and she just makes me... She just makes my blood boil. She is my Dolores Umbridge.
Yeah, mine has to be my Irish teacher because, fun fact, we learn Irish as like a second language in Ireland.
But none of us are fluent.
Even though, yeah, we're not fluent. Anyway, that's the British's fault, and we'll get into that, I'm sure, another day. But, yeah, my Irish teacher was definitely my Umbridge in the sense that, like, she even spoke in that kind of faux nice kind of a way.
Oh my god, I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah,
and I just remembered it now. Oh my god.
We're not going to name any of these people because it's not their fault that they're cunt, but, like, it, you know...
Well, yeah. my instance, it is her fault, but you know she chooses that. But whatever.
Yeah.
Wow, that was.
And they talk in the exact same way that Umbridge does, where it's like they're not being nice, but they talk in a nice way.
The sickeningly sweet voice.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, oh my god, I'm getting goosebumps. I need to move on before I actually punch the microphone. Okay, pick another number between 1 and 5 without 3.
5.
Oh, you're gonna laugh. My next confront character is actually Daniel LaRusso from the Karate Kid / Cobra Kai franchise. You're judging me so hard right now.
I definitely don't hate him as much as you.
Oh, no.
But you are helping me come up with mine because I'm like, surely there's somebody out of Cobra Kai that I hate.
Anyways, most of you might think that have seen the Karate Kid movies, but Daniel LaRusso's the hero. Why'd you hate him so much?
I think the internet has successfully disproven that at this stage, though.
Well, some people might live under rocks. But yeah, I do not like him at all. He is not the hero. He is a prick. He is an instigator. He causes the fights in the Karate Kid, franchise. Like, especially in the first one with Johnny Lawrence. Like, he's just such a little shit stirrer, and I can't fucking stand it. And it's even worse in Cobra Kai because he's an adult now. He's a man baby. It's his way or the highway, and it really pisses me off. Like, I'm just sitting there watching Cobra Kai like, bro, shut the fuck up. Leave Johnny Lawrence alone. It's not your way or the highway. Balance this, balance that. I don't give a fuck what you think. Like, oh my god, I forgot how angry these people made me, so I'm actually getting riled up. Yeah,
like, it's gonna be difficult to come back for. Let's try not to get too serious. Like we're talking about these people that we hate in a cathartic way.
Yeah.
And it's all in jest. Like, we're not sitting here like actually like seething about these people.
No.
Like, it's just a fun little thing.
I'm playing it up for you guys.
That's why we're picking a bunch of fictional characters,
Okay, so I said Daniel, I said Dolores. Okay, pick a number 1, 2, or 3.
2.
This one is totally justified because, everyone hates this character. It is Homelander from The Boys.
Fuck, I was going to pick someone from The Boys.
But need I say more? Like, if you have seen The Boys, I'm justified. If you haven't seen The Boys, how do I put this? You've watched The Boys in full. How should I put this?
Homelander's Donald Trump.
There we go. There we go. Any Republicans in the chat, click off right now. You don't belong here.
They love Homelander, so it's fine.
I guess, but actually, give us engagement by telling me that I'm wrong, please. Yeah. But yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that because, do I actually need to say anything else?
Yeah, I mean, look, if you do want a bit more of an expansion on that thought of, like, Homelander is a murderer, a manipulator, I think he might be a rapist as well, I can't quite remember. He's also a giant man-child. And, yeah, again, if you've seen The Boys, you know all this stuff. If you haven't seen The Boys, yeah, what if Donald Trump had Superman's powers? That's exactly what
that is a
the
world
character is.
I don't want to live in.
It's down to his shitty blonde hair.
Okay. There's 2 left, and both of these are just like me being like, ugh, it's this kind of person. Next confront character, I should say, is Pastor Jeff from Young Sheldon. how do I put this? It's just conservative Christian, but it's not like I don't mind like Christians. Like I've nothing against them. Like I don't hate your religion. It's just like how do I put it?
It's the certain type of Christian, I think, where they feel like they have the only answer and they try to enforce their beliefs on other people who don't share them. Like, if you're a Christian and you don't really care about anybody else, you just practice your own faith and that's your business and it's nobody else's, then that's fantastic.
No beef. No.
But if you're someone like Pastor Jeff in Young Sheldon, if you're not familiar with the character, he is the type that goes door to door trying to convert people, and even people that aren't Christian, he doesn't even try to convert them. He'll just try to enforce his beliefs on them.
He'll just tell you you're wrong, no matter what you believe. So
I guess spoilers for Young Sheldon. I'm going to bring up a plot point, but
yeah,
he tries to get a video rental store shut down because there's nudity in some of the films, and it's like that's not his choice.
Yeah.
It's a business. Like, nobody's being forced to go into there and rent movies. So
yeah, exactly. It's
he doesn't have any right to have it shut down.
Exactly. It's just like it's just little things like that, and like I just because like it's like the fake nicest, like the smile, the kind of like the so condescending thing. It's like, oh, so you're not going to church this week? Blah, 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 blah. Like, leave me be. Leave me be. Moral of the story, I don't like people who like try and force their beliefs on other people. So, there's that. So yeah, I'm just going to leave it at that before, I say something that I shouldn't. My last and final confront character. Again, people probably forget about this character because I feel like he's kind of pushed to the side, especially in this TV show, especially in the latest season and like with the newer season coming out. But my final confront character is Ted Wheeler from Stranger Things, Mike and Nancy's dad.
Yeah, I actually didn't even remember
exactly
who you were talking about there. Yeah,
but yeah, especially in season 1 and 2 and like even season 3, I'm like, I really don't like you. You're a terrible father, and like he doesn't see what he's doing is wrong. Like, oh, like there's so much to say, but I just don't know how to word it. He is just like the worst kind of person.
Well, he's the worst kind of parental archetype.
Oh, definitely. Like, that's what I was trying to say. Sorry.
I've only watched Stranger Things through once, so my memory's fuzzy. But he's kind of like, he doesn't really care about his children's well-being.
Oh no. No.
And it's like he's completely ignorant to everything going on around him as long as he can sit down and have a beer, which... Like, I get it. Sometimes you just need that disconnect, but other times, like, you gotta give a shit sometimes. Like.
Yeah. Like, he has no idea where his kids are half the time, and even then, like I remember in season 1, Mike was upset about Will being missing, and then, like, his dad said something, and, like, Mike ran, like, from the table. Nancy left because of other thing, and then, like, the youngest kid's nearly crying, and then the mom's mad at him, and he's like, what'd I do? And I'm just like, oh my god, I just want to slap you. Please, just actually care about your family. Please. If you didn't want a family, why'd you have one? Like, yeah. Those are my confront characters. I know I'm valid. If you want to tell me I'm wrong, by all means, try convert me. But, that's all I have to say. Whew. Your turn.
Yeah, to be honest, again, this isn't going to be great, but in a different sense, because I typically... try to stay away from negativity because I find that it's poison for the soul.
Ooh, look at me! I'm a better person than Kiki. Good to know.
I'm not saying I'm a better. I'm not saying.
I'm messing.
I'm not saying I'm a better person than anybody for not thinking these things. I just find it very hard to dwell on the negative most of the time. So a lot of the ones that I've thought of might not be totally great, and a lot of them aren't even shitty for the duration of the show or film that they are in. But yeah, it's very difficult for me to come up with characters that I genuinely hate because naturally I don't want to think about them. So
they're characters. It's okay to think about them every now and again. Just be like, ugh.
I think I've come up with 3.
Okay.
Yeah, I've come up with 3, and I think that's plenty.
Yeah, 3 is plenty. I just kind of went overboard because I was remembering more as I was writing. So that's fine.
So I'll go from kind of like maybe least shitty to most shitty.
Ooh, that's fun. I like that.
just to kind of get into it. I'm just like remembering them all. I'm trying to also figure out. Okay, least shitty. Kyler from Cobra Kai, specifically season 1. Because by season 6 of Cobra Kai, spoilers if you haven't watched it, Kyler does kind of become, he lands on his feet. He becomes a better person, and he finds people who appreciate him, and he appreciates them.
Okay.
So it's, really nice and stuff. Season 1 Kyler is a prick.
Oh boy.
And
oh boy.
the reason why I hate him so much, especially in season 1, before he has this kind of, not a redemption so much, he just kind of grows the fuck up.
Yeah.
Is that I knew a million Kylers in secondary school.
I think we all did.
High school for Americans. The guys who made fun of the kind of shy, socially awkward kids because they found it hilarious. The guys who would like constantly mistreat women and make them feel uncomfortable, which he does a lot in season 1.
Been there, done that, Mr. Worldwide,
Like, if you have not seen Cobra Kai, again, like spoilers for especially season 1, but a few of the choice things that he does is he tries to feel up one of the main characters who's female in the cinema.
Yeah.
And he gets annoyed at her for saying no.
And then spreads rumor
then he spreads a rumor that she gave him a blowjob in the cinema, which is not true, and it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
The show in its early seasons gets a lot into like bullying and especially bullying in today's age, which is it's a really excellent depiction of it.
Yeah.
Again, as someone who was the age of those kids when that show was coming out, it's very, very realistic.
It is very realistic, and it's not one of those things where it's like, oh, here's a boomer writing about what they think bullying is nowadays. No, it's actually fairly accurate.
Like all the cyberbullying and stuff is very genuine and very it's very relatable, and again, like the form of, because people don't beat each other up in secondary school anymore. At least not in Ireland.
No.
Like they wouldn't go around beating each other up, but they would like tease each other, make fun of each other, send each other like threats on social media.
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
Talk shit about each other on social media.
It's sad, really, but
that's what bullying is nowadays.
It's like the reality. It's sad, but it's the reality.
I mean, bullying's always going to exist. It's just going to change forms. But anyway, specifically with Kyler, then another thing he tries to do, I think, before the cinema thing.
Yeah.
Because it's with the same girl, is he gives her a bracelet and said it belonged to his grandmother when it was actually like a cheap one he bought for like $1.
Yeah.
And he's been doing this with like
every girl he dated.
Every girl he dates, he gives them a bracelet and says it's from his grandmother to get them to sleep with him, basically.
Like, you're disgusting.
Yeah. And it's all this kind of stuff. So
yeah.
Whenever I rewatch Cobra Kai and I'm in season 1 and I'm watching Kyler, I like absolutely can't stand him.
I'd actually have to skip over. I probably couldn't watch it. So I actually cannot watch this because I will just get really annoyed. Not
only does he do all this horrible stuff to the girls, but like the thing that makes it relatable to me is that he like is constantly bullying Miguel and like teasing him and kind of calling him names and stuff, and I can relate to that personally because I had that experience when I was in secondary school. So yeah, that's
the least shitty character.
Least shitty. Okay, he's not, because the one that I deem to be the most shitty is not actually the shittiest.
Oh.
They're just the one that infuriates me the most.
You know what? Fair enough. This is all subjective.
Yeah.
So, you know what? I could think Kyler's the worst, but like you're... But
I think my next character is the one you're going to think is the worst.
Okay.
But the one at the end, again, objectively, they're probably the least shitty.
Okay.
But in terms of watching them and just getting mad,
yeah, the suspense is killing me.
They are the most of that,
The suspense is killing me. Come on, let's go.
Next character, and again, this is specifically in the later part of the show rather than the earlier part.
Oh, here we go. I think I know where we're going.
Brian Griffin.
Oh.
Brian Griffin in the later, like post season, like 7 or 8 of Family Guy. He's the worst.
He really is.
He goes through women faster than shoes. Not that he wears shoes, but he goes through women faster than people wear shoes. He never looks for substance in these women, and even when he does switch up and go, oh, I want to look for substantial women who are like, actually have brains, he always finds a way to get pissed off with them and break up with them.
He has to be the smartest person in the room. That's his thinking. And that really annoys me.
I'm sure I'll do an entire episode on Brian Griffin.
We'll do an Angry Dome.
I think not an Angry Dome, because I actually really like Brian. Okay. He's one of my favourite characters in the earlier seasons, and I do actually love the Road 2 episodes of Family Guy with Brian and Stewie.
Yeah.
But later season Brian, where they intentionally wrote him to be this prick,
Okay.
it can be infuriating sometimes. Like, not just in the way he treats these women, but also he is the type of guy, because like a lot of a subplot in Family Guy is that Brian is a writer,
Yeah.
and the joke is that he's terrible, but he thinks he's a genius.
Oh boy.
And as a creative person who like went to film school, I've known those people who they create absolute shit, but they think like they make shit.
I'm laughing because I know who you're talking about.
They make shit and they think it tastes like vanilla. Like they think they're after making poetry when they're after writing like fucking. I can't think of any more comparisons, but anyway.
They think they're hot shit, but they're not.
They think they're hot shit, but they're not. Is like the simplest way of saying it.
Okay.
But yeah, that's like Brian represents that to me, and I think that's why it gets to me specifically, because I've known people who think that they're way smarter than they are.
Yeah.
When it comes to being creative, and yeah, like it's inescapable, and that's kind of why I hate later season Brian more. On top of how he treats his friends and his girlfriends and all that thing. And my little like thing about Brian, like a little character analysis, especially in later season Brian, is the reason like the love of Brian's life is Gillian.
Yes.
His recurring girlfriend on the show.
That's the stupid one, right?
That's the one that's so stupid she can't even function.
I love Gillian. I love her so much.
And the reason why she's perfect for Brian is that Brian can only be in a relationship with a woman that he's smarter than, but Brian himself is a moron.
Yeah.
So he needs someone who is basically not functional as a human being.
Yeah.
Like Gillian.
Completely inept.
Yeah, he needs to find someone stupider than him, but that's very few people.
Very
because
few.
he is himself an idiot.
Yep.
So that's why Gillian is perfect for him. But anyway, that's my little character
Brian
thing.
and Kyle might be tied for me right now. I hate them both so much.
And my final character, and this is the one that infuriates me the most.
Yeah.
Even though they've actually done the least amount of shitty things.
Okay, I feel like I might be surprised.
I think it's the Dolores Umbridge thing of they're not actually that bad, but it's so relatable. Like, because we've all met these people.
Okay.
Veruca Salt from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Wow. You really think she's worse than the other two? Wow.
She's not objectively worse. She's objectively not as bad as either of them.
Mm-hmm.
But she pisses me off the most because I think I've met like 10 Brian Griffins, I've met like 10 Kylers, but I've met 1,000 Veruca Salts. And this isn't a specific version of her. Like she's basically the same character in all. It's just like the type of character she is. And to be fair, this applies to like every character that's like Veruca Salt. I'm sure there's like there's loads of fiction. It's a character archetype of the kid that is never told no, the kid who does not know the word no. Daddy, I want this. Daddy, I want that. Daddy, I want this. Daddy, I want that. And if she doesn't get it, she screams and cries. And I think that's what makes it so, like, that's what pisses me off about her so much, because she screams whenever she doesn't get what she wants, and she always gets what she wants anyway. Put her in a house with an Irish mammy for 10 minutes, and by God, would that wooden spoon come out faster than I don't know what. I've met plenty of Irish mammies who dote on their kids, and is it boys though? What? I feel like when it comes to stuff like this. I've really? Seen both, yeah. Oh, I mainly just come across boys, and it's always Mammy's special little soldier, that kind of thing, you know? No, I've met plenty of young, like, to provide context of how I know so many of these, like when I was a kid, obviously I met many of these people because they were in my class in school. Yeah. But then I also work with kids like in extracurricular activities. Yeah. I'm a Taekwondo instructor kind of part-time, and I used to be a part of Scouts, where I obviously worked with a lot of kids there as a leader. So I've interacted with kids across fucking generations. Yeah. Yeah. And every single class has at least one. Oh boy. Where like they're completely doted on by their parents. They get everything they want. They get special attention when they want it. All they have to do is cry, or they have to fake an injury. Yep. and there's so many, and they're all like Veruca Salt, where they will be fucking fuming if they don't get what they want.
Yeah.
And it's the thing of like, it's the song in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory where she's like, I don't care how I want it now. Like, yeah, it just makes my blood boil.
You know what? That's fair.
I think the reason why she's my most hated of these three that I picked out.
Yeah.
Is because I've known so
it's
many. It's
personal. You knew so many of them, so you know what? It makes sense why she's the most hated one to you. But to me, the other two are still way worse than her. It's just, it's personal. It's personal experience.
It's the idea that like people hate Dolores Umbridge more than Voldemort. Voldemort is obviously the worst person.
Obviously, yeah.
But Umbridge is more relatable.
Yeah, it's real.
In terms of like we've all met that person.
It's more real to us than super Nazi.
And don't you just like hate seeing the kid who's never told no and they just scream and cry and their face goes completely red and
I'm gonna hold my breath until I get what I want kind of stuff. Yeah.
Like
this is why
I fucking hate them.
This is why I have faith for people like us in our generation. Like when it comes to us having kids, we know how to we're gonna know how to parent our kids. We're going to tell them no, but we're not going to shove them in front of an iPad either. I fully believe that you and me in particular, we're going to be amazing parents.
I mean, I think that there will always be those parents out there who give their kids whatever they want.
There will always be a handful, always. But
when it comes to like iPad kids and shit like that, like that's because that's a new thing that came out and people didn't know the dangers of it straight away.
Yeah, but now we do. They can't read. They actually cannot read.
Yeah.
Like the way when we were in.
But also they don't know how to interact with the physical world.
No, it's like freak Gen Alpha moment talking to objects like there and Alexa. Sorry if I just triggered your Alexas in your house, but whatever.
Just keep saying it, keep
Alexa, play Despacito, Volume 10.
Tell you what, yeah. Alexa, play Despacito. Okay, Google, play Despacito. What's the other one? Hey Siri, play Despacito.
I'm sorry. But it's just stuff like that. But regardless, that interesting take, I respect it.
Yeah. You don't have to agree, it's fine.
Yeah, I know. Interesting take, I respect it, but not for me. I understand why, but not for me.
It's three different versions of like Kyler's the dickhead bully, Brian's the kind of guy who thinks he's smarter than he is, and Veruca is the kid that never got told no. It's three different versions of the same kind of hatred, I think.
It's chronological order. It's the kid, then it's Kyler, then it's Brian. It's a pipeline.
Yeah, so I mean, I can't really think of many. Like, I could probably think of more if I thought about it, but I don't like thinking about it because even right now I'm getting depressed.
He's getting depressed. I can see him getting kind of pissed off. So that was fun. What do you think of that? That was a fun little exercise.
I liked talking about the comfort characters.
Now you're just mad.
I liked feeling good.
Okay, that's enough of that. So, what did you bring to the table this week? I'm interested to know because I actually forgot.
I brought a film to the table this week, a very interesting film. A very interesting backstory, one that I hope that we can talk about for the next 30 to 40 minutes.
Fuck yeah, I'm gonna have so much fun editing this episode.
So, to set the scene, a couple of months ago when I came up with this idea, we went to London.
Yes, we did indeed.
We saw a certain musical by the name of Wicked.
Woo!
Because there's a Wicked movie coming out later this year starring one of your favourite people on planet Earth.
Yes, 3 guesses who?
Jeff Goldblum.
Absolutely not.
We love Jeff Goldblum, by the way, but you definitely don't love him as much as you love a certain pop star.
This woman means everything to me. She's playing a certain Galinda, I believe. That's a lie.
I think we've led them on enough. It's Ariana Grande.
Yeah, it's Ariana Grande. And what are you talking about? What does this have to do with Wicked?
I'm talking about the film The Wizard of Oz.
Ooh, a classic. I love this movie.
Because when we watched Wicked, I wanted to, take a deep dive into all things Wizard of Oz to kind of learn about it and stuff. Because I was just, feeling the hype from that musical. Which, it's a good musical. It's really good.
Yeah.
Songs are really good. I listen to Popular often.
It's a banger. It is truly a banger. And I can't wait to see how she executes all these songs.
I cannot wait to hear Ariana Grande belt Popular. I hope she does like a really interesting version of it. But anyway.
I hope so too.
So, we're talking about the Wizard of Oz film starring Judy Garland.
The original.
The original one. And yeah, I have some, because again, I listen to a lot of podcasts, watch a lot of YouTube videos, and read a lot of stuff about the Wizard of Oz and the making of it. And I found some of it to be really, really interesting. And But also, I just want us to talk about the film and our
Okay.
experiences with it, and what we think about it. Like, not in terms of like say a review type sense, but let's just start talking about Wizard of Oz and see what comes up.
Oh God, yeah.
I was kind of trying to like segue into it by thinking of a hated character from Wizard of Oz, but there isn't really
The wizard.
any.
I hate the wizard. He's a horrible person.
In the original film, no.
He's a fraud. What are you talking about?
When he's James Franco, he's horrible, and when he's
I think the wizard across all versions is bad. And
I
by
think he's
that,
that bad,
and by
yeah.
that I mean the versions I've seen.
in the original film, I don't think he's that bad.
I think he's terrible. He's a fraud.
Yeah, okay. So let's just talk about the film. What is
Okay.
your experience with Wizard of Oz? When did you watch it for the first time?
Oh, okay. I was young. I'd say I was about between the ages of 6 and 8. Seems like the right age. I watched it for the first time actually with my parents. I think it might have been around like Christmas time or like that week between Christmas and New Year's where no one knows what fucking day it is. It was on TV, so we sat down, we watched it. It was my first time watching it. It was very interesting. I was like, wow, this is super cool. But I don't remember much of my first time watching it. But a couple of years later, I think I was like maybe 7 or 8. I was at a friend's house in my estate, and like they had the DVD and we threw it on, and like, the mom was like, you know what, they never watch it, so you can have it. And I was like, are you sure? And they were like, yeah. She was like, yeah, of course. I was like, oh, thank you so much. So she gave me the DVD of The Wizard of Oz, and it was like a super cool like DVD. Like the plastic was red, and it was like it had a really nice picture of like the main cast on the front. Like it was lovely, and you know what, it means a lot to me now. I don't have it here. I really should get it or find it wherever it is now. But you know what, it was really sweet. It was very nice, and I always enjoyed that movie. Like whenever it was on, I wouldn't watch it personally. Like I wouldn't choose to watch it, but if it was on, I'd definitely sit down to watch it. Or if you wanted to watch it, I'd love to sit down and watch it. But I really do want to watch it again before we go see Wicked, because I feel like it'll just be a nice little thing to do.
Just to like recap
Yeah.
everything, and I definitely want to watch like the James Franco movie again before
Oh,
Wicked,
boy.
just to see how my thoughts on that have changed. But isn't it interesting that like this film was from 1939, I think, something around then.
Yeah.
And yet everybody has the same story of, I watched it as a kid. My parents put it on for me, or it was on TV. Like, Citizen Kane is never on TV.
No. Why would it be?
The Universal monster movies are never on TV.
Yeah, you're right, they're not. I tried to
It's-
think if I saw them on TV or not, but no, it's never the originals.
It's an insane testament to the quality of the film, I think,
Yeah.
and the relevance of it.
Mm-hmm.
That it's a film from almost 100 years ago,
That is scary.
and kids now are being shown it by their parents. Like,
Yeah, it is really interesting. No,
when you think about it that way, is
Yeah.
that not insane?
it is wild. Like
Like-
what? How many old movies would you actually show your kids? I can think of Wizard of Oz and It's a Wonderful Life. They're the two I'm showing our kids. And
I don't
that's
even
it.
think It's a Wonderful Life like is one that's very popular to show kids.
I love that movie.
It'd be on at Christmas, definitely.
Yeah.
I'd say.
I love that movie. It's very sad, but I love it.
Like, the only other films I can think of are like maybe the animated Disney films, but even then, not so much.
They don't really count. I think. I don't know why. I think Mr. Oz is like different. It's a different vibe. I don't
Maybe
know.
because it's live action, so
It's live action, so it's different. Because like kids will see black and white nowadays, especially those
Yeah.
like iPad kids. They'll see black and white and they'll be like, "Ew, what's this?" But if you show on a classic Disney movie, they'll be like, "Oh, cool, color. You know, it's a cartoon, so it's fine."
especially when you're a kid, animation just kind of looks the same, whether it's from 2024 or 1930.
Unfortunately, everything looks like fucking Cocomelon or Steven Universe at the moment, so I'm not having fun with that.
Yeah, but as a kid, you don't really notice that difference.
Yeah. But you know,
Yeah, I mean, I just think that's crazy, and again, I think it is like a testament to the quality of the film, because it is, and it's insane, because you think The Wizard of Oz, this incredible 10 out of 10, most people consider it to be like basically a perfect kids movie.
yeah,
Yet, and you'd think because of that, you'd think, oh, this must have been like a massive labor of love, and how it was like, it must have been like one amazing auteur director. It was not the case. This was a corporate film. This was a studio film made to make money.
ow,
it's by pure happenstance, really, that it turned out as amazing as it is.
It's such a wholesome movie, but then when you see that behind the scenes, it's like, oh, less wholesome.
It went through about 5 different directors, like 12 different screenwriters. It was like constantly being changed. The stuff behind the scenes was horrifying, which we'll get into in a minute, because I want to talk about some of that stuff. But it is kind of insane how all this stuff was going on behind the scenes. What are you laughing at?
I just read the end of your notes there, just at the last part there.
Oh yeah, we'll be getting into it. But yeah, I think it's really strange how this was by all means a studio film. Like it was a film akin to, like, you know, the modern day equivalent is probably Marvel movies, where they're made to make money.
The cash cow.
Yeah, they're cash cows. Like they're made to generate profit. But I guess maybe it's just because it was so different back then that you had to put the effort in, whether you liked it or not. You couldn't just hand it off to a VFX team and say build it in the computer and push it out. Like, you know, you still, like, if you're, whether you're making it to make money or making it to be an auteur, you still have to put work in and you have to put effort in, because the only way a kids film in 1939 is going to make money, which it didn't actually, which I'll get into in a sec. The only way for it to make money would be to put as much work in as possible. So it's, I don't know, I find it intensely fascinating. This is crazy. This is the kind of shit that you're gonna hear if you go to the Kino Cave, like just me talking about these weird quirks, and if you don't find it fascinating, you might not enjoy it so much. But if you do, then
if you don't, then my channel's probably more for you. We are polar opposites on the channel spectrum, I think.
Somewhat, yes,
but it works.
But
continue.
Yeah, something that was interesting, I think, is the Wizard of Oz did not make a massive amount of profit at the time.
Wow.
It made its money on like when it, like 20 years later, it was just shown on TV as just, here's a kids film from 20 years ago, and that's how it gained a lot of popularity. And that's where I think nostalgia plays into it a lot, because those kids who watched it on television in kind of the late 50s, early 60s would then have grown up and put it on for their kids in the 70s and 80s, and then those 70s and 80s kids will have put it on for the kids in the 80s and 90s, and onto the 2000s, 2010s, down to our generation.
Yeah.
And this is also, like, you know, getting into the importance of not just dropping everything on a streaming service.
Oh yeah, no.
And, you know, the importance of buying things physically and all that kind of thing.
We're for physical media on this podcast.
Yeah, this is a deeply physical media channel, and you will hear it brought up a lot. So
less so by me, but a lot from Brendan.
A lot by me. I do this in real life, so I'm definitely going to be doing it a lot on the podcast. But anyway, we're here to talk about Wizard of Oz, so I'll try and stay mostly on track. So yeah, I find that endlessly fascinating. And just to give my voice a break for a second, what are your thoughts? Like, just because I do have notes in front of me, but I don't have any details because it's all up here in my noggin. Fuck me, I have to burp. Excuse me. So why don't I just ask you, what do you know about, like, the Wizard of Oz kind of production? Like, how deep does your knowledge go? 'Cause yours is definitely more surface level than mine, because I've really looked into this.
Okay, definitely more surface level than yours, as you said, but all I know, it was production hell. Actors were treated horribly, but especially Judy Garland and the person who plays the Witch of the West. Just everything that could have went wrong with that movie went wrong from what I remember. So, you know, not a fun time. Brendan, you're not making this any easier. For the benefit of the podcast, Brendan got up to get a glass of water. Let's wait for him just so he comes back, shall we?
We're a professional business here.
Okay. But yeah, it was production hell, basically. Production hell. Awkward pause so he can drink.
Do you know what? The Weekly Planet has like 1 million listeners, and they fully like are eating sandwiches during their podcast, so fuck it. Okay.
Mukbang podcast. Yes.
Yeah, so In terms of some of the shit that would happen on set, yeah, like the obvious thing is Judy Garland, and that's the thing that everybody talks about. And I don't want to say that that's not as important, but it's, you already know what I'm gonna say. Like,
You already know.
she was given cigarettes, she was given sleeping pills, and like wake up pills, basically. So they could fully control her sleep. Like, give her sleeping pills when they want her to go to sleep, give her stay awake pills when they want her to be awake.
Cannot be good for you.
Literally controlling her sleep patterns to whatever they wanted. They made her smoke cigarettes. They gave her diet pills.
Corset so that was too tight.
She'd stay skinny. Yeah, she was constantly like doped up and stuff. She was constantly felt up by some of the men on set. There are a few things that aren't strictly true.
Mm-hmm. I.e. the munchkin in the back that apparently unalived himself.
Yeah, that's not true. That's a complete myth. The thing you're looking at in the background is a bird, I believe. One of the birds on set. That's what you're looking at in that scene. There's also a story about the munchkin actors who were all played by little people. Apparently they would get really drunk and like harass Judy Garland, which is not true.
Okay.
There are interviews from Judy Garland saying that yeah, they were drunk, but they didn't really do anything that horrible. And a lot of people like to frame this as like, oh look, they're getting drunk on set, and it's like really unprofessional and things like that. They were getting drunk because they were so fucking happy, because a lot of them had never even met another little person before. So they
had the right to celebrate there.
Suddenly they were the only person who looked like them, and they went from that to being one of 50 people that looked like them, and they were so delighted with that they would just get drunk all the time and have parties. And a lot of people say that they had orgies and stuff like that, and talking about how reprehensible that is, but they can do what they want. Like, just because they did it, like, they didn't do it in the presence of children or anything, and they didn't do it in public, like they did it in their hotel rooms and things like that. So fucking leave them alone. Like so yeah, that was the case a lot. And as for getting drunk on set, the guy who played the wizard would, the briefcase that the wizard has at the end of the movie, in that was basically a mini martini bar where between takes he would make himself martinis and get incredibly pissed.
So bro was sloshed the entire shooting process.
Yeah, pretty much, for the scenes that he's in.
And you wonder why I hate the wizard.
Oh, as far as I know, he didn't do anything terrible. Again, if there is something terrible that he did, it's because I'm misremembering it. I'm not trying to bury anything or anything like that. If he did, if you can comment on whatever platform you're listening to this on, let me know and remind me, because I might be leaving out stuff, because this is all from memory. I haven't any of this really written down. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff there. They basically almost killed a guy. They got an actor to play the Tin Man, and they sprayed all this silver shit on him, and he had to be taken to hospital almost straight away because they poisoned him with, I think, aluminium.
Great.
And I think the director at the time said, I used pure aluminium and I didn't realize that was dangerous, which nowadays sounds extremely neglectful, but to be fair, at the time they did not know.
The snow scene was pure asbestos. They really don't care about safety here.
They didn't know the effects of asbestos at the time. They didn't know the effect of pure aluminium at the time. This is all stuff that was still kind of being researched, so
I still don't know what the effects of pure aluminium are. So.
They were just really unfortunate accidents, most of them, but it is worth noting that that actor did not, he was unwell, like he wasn't well enough to play the Tin Man after that, so they got a different actor. I'm forgetting all these people's names, so I apologize for that. But the actor who ended up actually being in the film still was permanently poisoned by the silver paint. It was just a different kind of stuff.
Great.
The fur used for the lion is real lion fur.
It was heavy.
He would be so sweaty in it that he would frequently come close to passing out.
Oh boy.
I think the scarecrow was okay. I can't remember. There might have been something horrible happened to him as well. But the person I really want to talk about
is
Margaret Hamilton.
Right.
Because this is a woman who does not get enough credit for the shit that she had to go through on this movie and the shit that she had to go through after this movie.
Right, okay.
So, again, just to give my voice a break, and because I'm going to do a lot of talking in a few minutes, why don't you tell me about the Wicked Witch of the West and how you feel about Margaret Hamilton's performance? Because I know you know some of this stuff from me telling you.
Yeah.
But outside of all that.
Outside of all that, I knew next to nothing. She was what? She played that character really well, and I do know that she did get typecast as like the evil witchy bitch after this movie because she played the role so well, which is unfortunate because typecasting not great. But yeah, absolutely crushed that performance. She terrified plenty of kids that watched that movie. I've no doubt about that. Yeah.
Were you like scared of the Wicked Witch?
No, not really.
No.
I didn't frighten easily when it came to shit like that. I guess because I knew it wasn't real. I don't know. That makes no sense because Monster House gave me nightmares for a week. So I don't know. I don't know where the line is, but for some reason I wasn't scared of the Wicked Witch of the West. Maybe because I was so young that I couldn't really understand how bad she actually was.
Are you trying to say that your house doesn't come to life in the middle of the night?
What? Does this one?
I was just trying to... You don't know.
I fucking hope not.
Continue.
I lost my train of thought.
I just wanted to see would I throw you off with that statement. And
You did.
Clearly I have.
Oh god, I'm gonna have so much fun editing this. Oh my god.
So you like the Wicked Witch?
Yes, that is my point. She did it very well. I'm trying not to say your points because I think I know exactly what you're going to say because I remember you telling me about this a couple of weeks ago.
Okay, so yeah, I'll get into it. I also love the Wicked Witch of the West. I think Margaret Hamilton kills it. I think she basically influenced what a witch would be for like the rest of time up until the present. It's a really excellent portrayal, I think, and yeah, she absolutely crushed it. And as it turns out, she crushed it in the face of like a lot of shit that happened on set. For instance, she was set on fire.
Yikes, not great.
In the scene, this is a pretty famous story, but there's other stories as well. But in the scene when the Wicked Witch is to go to disappear in a cloud of red fire and smoke in Munchkinland. The idea was that she would stand there, a bunch of smoke would come out, trapdoor would activate, and she would,
fall through before the fire starts.
Go through the trapdoor, fire would erupt, and then that creates the effect of the witch disappearing in a ball of fire. The trapdoor did not activate very quickly, and the fire went off before she was safely through the trapdoor. And this is like a kind of half-remembered second-hand story from Hamilton, so bear with me. But apparently she looked around and everybody was panicking, and she was like, what's going on? And then she looked down at her hands and the skin was gone. The skin was gone off of her hands because of these third-degree burns, and it's only then that she realised what had happened to her. So she was rushed off the hospital and was treated and was sent home. I think it was the following day.
She was put on bed rest though.
She was put on bed rest, yeah, because she was like...
Her skin's gone.
Her skin was gone. It was gone.
Like, melted. There was nothing left. She didn't feel she was on fire.
It was melted off, yeah.
She didn't feel she was on fire because the nerves were gone.
Yeah, the fire just immediately scorched her nerves. But anyway, so she was on bed rest, and apparently the following day after the accident, she got a phone call from the studio saying, "Hi Margaret, I hope you're feeling well. So when are you coming back to work?" And she said, "Well, I don't know. I've still not got any skin. So it could be a while, like." And apparently her doctor was with her at the time, and he snatched the phone off of her after hearing this and said, "This is Margaret's doctor. I'll call you when she's ready to come back to work," and hung up the phone.
Badass. We love
And
that doctor.
I think it took like 3 to 6 weeks for
It
it to be
fucking
well
would,
enough.
wouldn't it? Because your skin's fucking gone. That has to grow back. That shit has to grow back.
The studio didn't care, and you know they wanted her to get back to work, and you could still see, like Disney still does shit like this. Like, you know, there's all that stuff that came out about the Marvel VFX artists.
Cough tried to killed someone's wife and was like, yeah, you signed up for a free trial.
I mean, that guy didn't even work for them. But like the story that I'm thinking of is the VFX artists from Marvel who would just not go home for weeks. They would sleep at their desks.
Absolutely
They would
not.
just not sleep. A lot of them are reported to have just broken down crying in front of their computers because the workload was so massive.
Would simply quit, but whatever.
Well, if you quit, then you get blackballed basically, and you will never work again. You know.
Me. I hate Disney.
And the story that you were referring to is one that is still ongoing, so I won't talk too much about it. But basically, Disney tried. A guy's wife was poisoned at a Disneyland restaurant.
Because allergies.
Because
not actual poison, but allergies.
And she was assured that the allergen was not in the meal, but it was. She was poisoned and killed. And so the widower is rightfully suing Disney for this. And Disney tried to say that the free trial for a Disney Plus subscription that he signed up for basically mean, like, the fact that he signed up for this free trial
in terms and conditions or something like that.
Yeah, and in the terms and conditions, apparently that means that Disney is not liable, which is insane.
That is beyond stupid. And as someone who has food allergies, like, you know, can't eat gluten, will poison me. Like, I won't die,
like,
but
you
like,
won't die, but
you know,
it can make you incredibly sick.
I would be out of sorts from days to weeks. So, you know, not great.
Yeah, so this is the kind of company that Disney is. They tried to use a free trial for Disney Plus as a way to say, yeah, when you sign up for a free trial on Disney Plus, we're allowed to murder your wife.
Lovely. I'm never eating at a Disney restaurant ever again.
Anyway, we're getting a bit off topic. So
back to the wizard.
Back to Margaret Hamilton. When she finally came back to work, and there was a stunt that she had to do where it's the shot of the witch outside Dorothy's house as it goes through the tornado.
Okay.
And she's on the broom, and you know she's cackling and all that kind of thing. Everybody knows the shot. It's a very famous one. It's been it's been parodied in you know all forms of media.
Every tornado has that something.
Yeah. So, funny story about that one. She saw that like the broomstick that she had to fly on because of, you know, the pyrotechnics involved. It was like this pipe that was, you know, going to blow smoke at the end, I think, or something like that. And she was like, okay, look, will this set me on fire?
Right, a valid question considering she got 3rd-degree burns on her fucking hands.
I'm not quoting any of this shit verbatim, I'm just kind of presenting it in a funny way.
Yeah.
But she was like, this isn't going to set me on fire, is it? And the pyrotechnics guy was like, okay, look, it might set you on fire. Margaret Hamilton was like, I've already been set on fire. I'm not getting set on fire again.
Can we not do this again?
And the studio was like, look, you have to do this. I know there's a chance you'll get set on fire, but there's also a chance that you won't get set on fire.
Oh my God.
And Margaret Hamilton was like, I'm a single mom. I'm not chancing getting set on fire for the 2nd time in this film. And fair play to Margaret Hamilton, she completely refused to do that stunt. And, you know, they weren't gonna actually like sit, like, you know, kidnap, like, you know, sit her up on the thing and like, you know, tie her down or anything.
Force her to do it, like.
You can't actually force her to do it, like. So yeah, she absolutely refused to do it. She said like, absolutely, I'm not doing this stunt, I will go home. And she went home, and so they had to get a stunt double to go up and sit up on top of the broomstick. And you know what happened? They got set on fire.
No way!
So if Margaret Hamilton had done that stunt, she would have been set on fire again.
That poor woman did not deserve it.
As far as I know, that stunt person did not die, but I might be misremembering that, so, you know, I'm not entirely sure.
Regardless, they were set on fire.
Regardless, the Wicked Witch was set on fire twice during The Wizard of Oz. And yeah, fair play to Margaret Hamilton for that one, because
she walked, she knew. She fucking knew.
And I think that's all I remember of that story. Yeah, I'm sure there's other stuff that I'm leaving out, but regardless, Margaret Hamilton, what a fucking legend. And it is unfortunate that after the film, as you said, she was typecast as a Wicked Witch. And in fairness, when you look at her in real life, she did kind of look like that. She had the chin and, you know, the nose and stuff, but it is unfortunate that she wasn't, that she was always kind of portrayed that way.
Yeah.
Even though if you look at interviews, she is extremely grateful for the fact that she could play that character, and
I imagine it was a lot of fun besides being set on fire.
there is a very funny story about the casting call that I just remembered now. But yeah, she was called by her agent, and they said, "Look, at making a Wizard of Oz movie, and they want you to be in it." And she was like, "Oh, that's one of my favorite books as a kid, you know, the Wizard of Oz, and this is gonna be great. Who am I playing?" And they went, "The Witch," and she went, "What?"
The fucking what now?
It's like, yeah, they want you to play the witch, and she's like, "Oh, fuck." That sucks.
Whatever. A gig is a gig.
Yeah, so that was and she always talks about it in jest, and apparently her and Judy Garland were really good friends on set.
I believe that.
Continued to be very close afterwards. So all that stuff is really, really good. And another very interesting story that I will end this long discussion on. One thing that I would like to mention is that years and years after the Wizard of Oz, Margaret Hamilton went on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
Okay.
And if anybody doesn't know what Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood is, it's a beautiful little show about a guy called Mr. Rogers who wears a jumper, and his whole thing is that he's like the nicest guy who's ever lived.
Aww.
And he was like that on the show, and he was like that in real life. If anybody has ever read up on Mr. Rogers,
Can we have people like that again, please?
He would take hours out of his day to personally answer fan mail, and he would always, like whenever kids approached him, he would always be extremely nice and extremely kind. And he would even, there is a story of Mr. Rogers, just really, really quickly. There was a kid in a wheelchair that he met on his show.
Yeah.
And like 30 years later, that kid came up to him at some award show, and he instantly recognized him.
Aww.
And started crying because he, like, that kid did not have a very long life expectancy. So Mr.
Nice.
Rogers, one of the nicest men who's ever lived, and Margaret Hamilton went on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood to explain to young kids that actors are not their characters.
Oh, because obviously kids were scared of her.
Yeah, kids would have been scared of Margaret Hamilton because they saw her as a wicked witch. So what she did was, she showed up in, I can't remember now, it might be the other way around, but I think she showed up just dressed as herself, and she put on the Wicked Witch costume as she was explaining this. Okay. It's either that, or she showed up in the Wicked Witch costume and took it off as she was explaining it.
Yeah.
But she was saying, "Look, I played a witch, but I am not that in real life. In real life, I'm just a regular person."
Yeah.
And I think that's a really, really nice thing. Nowadays, that kind of stuff I think is more obvious to kids, but back then, when your only exposure to an actor is a character that they play,
yeah,
you know, you can see why a kid might get confused that the actor and the character are two completely separate things. So
that's the kind of like celebrity I want to be. If I ever in a million years become like famous in any way, shape, or form, that I'd have like fans or whatever, I want to be that really nice celebrity that everyone knows for being really nice, you know?
Yeah, I mean,
like if I was getting fan mail, I would set hours out of my day to answer it. I would, you know, take time to, you know, answer fan mail, like reply to comments, XYZ, like that kind of stuff, you know. I don't want to be that celebrity that just kind of ignores that. Like if I got fan mail like now, I'd be fucking delighted. I'd be like, oh my god, I'd fucking frame it.
Compared to like most celebrities nowadays who don't even run their own social media accounts.
I'm sorry now. I need my control of my TikTok, please. Thank you very much. I like doom scrolling. I like having fun times. Because then shit like this happens. Like we created a podcast because like this is something I always wanted to do. So, you know.
Yeah, and that's just a really nice little story, I think, about Margaret Hamilton.
That's so sweet. I love that.
I do love talking about Mr. Rogers as well, because he was such a nice guy. But,
aww.
Yeah, so that's all the points I wanted to hit on The Wizard of Oz, and we managed to stretch that out to like 30 to 40 minutes. So
look at us go.
Look at us go. Any final thoughts on anything that we discussed there? I know I did a lot of talking in the second half.
It's fine. Like my voice was going after the first half.
I'm the one with all the facts.
It's fine. My voice is going after the first half anyways. But trying to think. I had a lot of fun doing this. Like, that was really interesting. Like, all your Wizard of Oz, like, facts and tidbits. Like, that was fun.
Yeah, it was nice that I was able to end on a positive story.
Yeah.
There's not many of those when it comes to talking about the Wizard of Oz.
Thank God we did my stuff first, so the confront characters. But yeah, this was fun. We'll do it again. Can't wait to see what you bring next week. That's going to be fun.
I don't even know what I'm going to bring next week, so I'm also excited to figure out what I'm going to do next week.
I have up until episode 4 planned, and episode 4 is I have a doozy for you guys, so that's going to be a lot of fun for me. Okay, so that's everything today, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I don't really know how to end these.
We're still figuring it out. This is episode 2, relax. So this has been Kiki Nova and Mr. Kino.
This has been Mr. Kino. Go to either of our channels on
Subscribe. YouTube. We'll see you guys next week. Slongaful. Bye.
Goodbye.
Did you like the Irish there? Bringing it back?
I do like that, yes.
We're bringing it back. We are so back.
We are not.